Cassie just did something that most people in her position would never have the guts to do. And honestly, it's the move that basically sealed the deal for her entire case. But before we get into what she did, we got to talk about Clayton Howard, because this man really just handed Cassie everything she needed on a silver platter. Like, seriously, I don't know how you mess up this badly when you're actively in a lawsuit against someone. So Clayton went on Twitter and posted this video, right? And I'm not exaggerating when I say this video is probably the dumbest thing he could have done. He's sitting there in a car, literally threatening Cassie. Like full-on threats. He's saying things like he's gonna burn her out with fire. He's going off about how she needs to stop playing stupid games and talking all this reckless stuff about Douglas Wigdor, who's basically the lawyer who helped bring Diddy down in the first place. Douglas Wigdor works with Cassie, and Clayton's calling him a scumbag racist, just throwing around these wild accusations that don't even stick. Here's the thing that makes this so insane. Clayton identified himself in the video. He actually said his name. He acknowledged that he's suing Diddy and Cassie. So he's basically laying out the entire situation, telling everyone watching that he's upset because Cassie filed a motion to dismiss his case against her. And then what does he do? He goes on this 9-minute rant that's just filled with personal attacks and threats. The man is essentially creating evidence against himself. And I genuinely don't think he understood what he was doing at that moment. Cassie's legal team didn't waste any time either. They immediately filed court documents bringing this video to the judge's attention. The filing is brutal because they're not even being emotional about it. They're just laying out facts. They explain that Clayton made explicit threats of violence. They detail how he called Cassie degrading names, victim blamed her, questioned whether she was actually trafficked by Diddy, which is just such a low move when you think about it. And they point out that the video spread everywhere. We're talking YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, all over the place. News outlets like Complex and Hollywood Unlocked picked it up. This wasn't some random video that nobody saw. It blew up. What Cassie's team is doing with this filing is requesting a protective order against Clayton. Basically, they're asking the court to shut him down for making these kinds of public statements while the lawsuit is ongoing. And the reason this matters so much is because there's actual legal authority for this. Courts have the power to protect people in litigation from harassment and intimidation. They can restrict someone from making statements that are going to prejudice the case. And that's exactly what Clayton did by going nuclear on social media. But here's where it gets really interesting from a legal perspective. And this is something people need to understand. Clayton has repeatedly said he wants to become a lawyer. He wants to pass the bar exam. He's a law student right now. And the California State Bar has these guidelines about moral character. When you're trying to get admitted to practice law, they look at your conduct. They care about whether you respect the rights of other people, whether you respect the judicial process, whether you treat opposing parties with any level of professionalism. Clayton just threw all of that in the garbage. If he was already a licensed attorney, what he did would violate multiple bar rules. Multiple. We're talking about publicly threatening someone and then going after opposing counsel, calling them racist with no actual basis. That's the kind of behavior that gets lawyers disbarred. And Clayton thinks he's going to pass the bar with this video sitting out there. It's not happening. Any state bar examining his application is going to see this and wonder what kind of lawyer he would be. The character and fitness portion alone is going to be a nightmare for him. The thing that really shows how calculated Cassie's response is, and this is what makes me think she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, is that she didn't just get upset and fire back. She went through her legal team and made this official. She made it part of the court record. She forced a judge to look at what Clayton did. She made it so that Clayton's own conduct becomes evidence that works against him. When the judge reads through this filing and watches that video, what do you think is going to happen to Clayton's credibility in the lawsuit? It's gone. I think a lot of people don't realize how serious this is. When you're in litigation, you don't go on social media and threaten the other party. You don't insult their lawyers. You don't make videos that are clearly designed to intimidate them. Your job is to let the court do its job. You present your case to the judge and you let the legal process work. Clayton did the exact opposite. He went public. He made threats. He created a whole campaign of harassment against Cassie and her legal team. And the fact that Cassie was apparently out of the country, maybe even taking a break, but still managed to respond this quickly. And this effectively shows that she's got a serious legal team backing her. Douglas Wigdor isn't just some random lawyer. He's known for taking on major cases and actually winning them. The partnership between Cassie and her legal representation is tight, and they're not letting Clayton slide on anything. What Clayton did was basically hand the case to Cassie on a plate. Whatever lawsuit he thought he had against her is now completely compromised. Even if there were legitimate points to his case, which I don't think there are, they're all overshadowed now by his own conduct. He made himself the problem instead of letting the court focus on the actual claims. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because this whole situation with Clayton isn't just about some random guy suing Cassie out of nowhere. There's a bigger picture here, and I genuinely believe that Diddy is involved in this in ways that people aren't fully talking about. Not in a legal sense necessarily, but in terms of strategy and financial backing. Think about it. Clayton comes out of nowhere with this lawsuit against both Diddy and Cassie. Diddy's already dealing with massive legal problems. He's got his own stuff going on, his own court cases. His reputation is in absolute shambles. So why would Clayton randomly decide to sue both of them at the same time? It doesn't make sense unless someone's encouraging him, unless someone's bankrolling this thing from the background. And my gut tells me that Diddy saw an opportunity here. The theory makes sense when you look at what Diddy wants. Diddy wants his lick back. He wants to damage Cassie because she came forward against him. She filed serious allegations. She worked with Douglas Wigdor. She helped build a case that's been devastating for Diddy's image and his legal position. So what does Diddy do? He can't directly come after Cassie because his position is already compromised. Instead, he finds someone like Clayton, someone who's got a grudge or someone who's willing to be used. And he probably helps fund this lawsuit from the background. He probably gives Clayton advice, financial support, maybe even coaching on what to say and do. The problem is that Diddy apparently didn't account for one thing. Cassie is smarter than he is in this situation. While Diddy was setting up Clayton to be some kind of weapon against her, Cassie was already 3 steps ahead. She knew that if Clayton got frustrated enough, if he felt desperate enough, he would eventually do something stupid. And Clayton did exactly that. He made the video. He couldn't keep quiet. He couldn't just let the legal process work. He had to go on social media and throw a fit. And in doing that, he destroyed his own case. So now what's happened is that Diddy's plan has completely backfired. Instead of Clayton being useful in damaging Cassie, Clayton has become a liability. He's created evidence that helps Cassie. He's shown that there's this coordinated effort against her. And more importantly, he's shown how desperate the other side is. When you're losing a case and your strategy starts involving threats and public harassment campaigns, that tells the judge everything he needs to know. The protective order filing that Cassie's team submitted is basically saying, look, this is what we're dealing with. This is the level of desperation on the other side. This is what happens when you try to bully someone through social media instead of letting the court handle it. And that filing is going to be in front of the judge. Every time Diddy's name comes up in relation to Clayton's lawsuit, there's going to be this context of Clayton making threats and acting unhinged on social media. It's guilt by association, and it's brilliant from a strategic standpoint. What I find really fascinating about how Cassie has handled this entire thing is that she never had to say Diddy was behind Clayton. She didn't have to prove it. She just let Clayton's own actions speak for themselves. By filing for the protective order based on Clayton's video, she's highlighting how coordinated this harassment is. The filing mentions that the video spread across multiple platforms, that it got picked up by news outlets, that it was part of a larger campaign against her. The narrative is being built that this is organized, that it's not just some random guy with a complaint. And think about what this does to Clayton's case in court. Any judge reading this filing is going to see that Clayton lacks credibility. He's making threats, he's using profanity and insults, he's calling opposing counsel racist without any evidence. This is not how someone conducts themselves when they have a solid legal case. You don't need to threaten people if you've got the law on your side. You don't need to make angry videos if your evidence is strong. The fact that Clayton went to these lengths tells the judge that Clayton knows his case is weak. I also think about what this means for Clayton's future, not just in this lawsuit, but in his entire life. He wants to be a lawyer. He's trying to pass the bar. And now there's this video of him threatening someone he's actively suing. There's a court filing documenting his threats. There's news coverage of his conduct. When he applies to practice law, all of this is going to be there. Potential employers aren't going to want to hire him. Law firms are going to see that video and ask themselves if they really want to associate with someone who conducts himself this way. His own bar application is going to be flagged. The irony of it is that Clayton probably thought he was being tough, thought he was intimidating Cassie, thought he was helping his case by making that video. In reality, he was just digging his own grave. He was making the judge's decision easier. He was showing everyone exactly who he is and what he's capable of, and none of it looks good from a legal standpoint. What's also worth noting is that Cassie's team moved quickly on this. They didn't wait around. They saw the video. They understood the implications. They filed immediately. That's the kind of legal firepower that Cassie has in her corner. Douglas Wigdor didn't get famous for missing opportunities like this. He saw what Clayton did. He understood that it could be used as evidence of harassment and intimidation. And he made sure the court knew about it before Clayton could try to delete the video or claim it was taken out of context or something. This whole situation is a masterclass in how to handle litigation when the other side is falling apart. Cassie didn't have to do anything aggressive. She didn't have to make counter videos or get into social media beefs with Clayton. She just had to let Clayton be himself, let him make his mistakes, and then document those mistakes for the court. The reality of this whole situation is that Cassie has basically won this case already. And I'm saying that without even knowing what the final judgment is going to be. The judge hasn't made a ruling yet, but the damage that's been done to Clayton's case is irreparable. When the protective order gets granted, and it will get granted because the court literally has the authority to do this, and Clayton gave them every reason to, his case is done. It's finished. C, once a protective order is in place, it becomes this official declaration that Clayton has engaged in harassment and intimidation. That becomes part of the legal record. That becomes part of how the judge views him as a litigant. Even if Clayton has some legitimate claims underneath all of this, they're now tainted by his conduct. The judge is going to look at him and think this is a person who can't control himself, who makes threats, who harasses opposing counsel, who's trying to become a lawyer while acting like this. How am I supposed to take anything he says seriously? And the thing about flushing a case down the toilet, which is what's happened here, is that you can't unflush it. Clayton can't undo making that video. He can't undo the threats. He can't undo calling Douglas Wigdor racist. It's all out there now. Multiple news outlets have covered it. It's been shared thousands of times across social media. People have screenshots. It's archived. This is permanent. This is his digital legacy now, and it's going to follow him for years. What I think is really important for people to understand is that this is what happens when you let desperation drive your legal strategy. Clayton was probably frustrated that Cassie filed a motion to dismiss. He probably felt like his case was slipping away. And instead of working with his legal team to strengthen his case, he went rogue on social media. He thought he could intimidate her into backing down or into settling or something. But that's not how law works. The court doesn't care about your YouTube rants. The court doesn't care about your threats on Twitter. The court cares about evidence, about legal arguments, about facts presented in the proper forum. Cassie understood this. Douglas Wigdor understood this. That's why they responded the way they did. They didn't engage with Clayton on social media. They didn't make counter videos or fire back with insults. They took his own words, they documented them, they filed them with the court, and they let his conduct speak for itself. That's professional. That's effective. That's how you actually win cases. Now, the bigger picture here is what this means for Diddy. If my theory is right and Diddy is backing Clayton in some way, then Diddy just lost a major asset. Clayton's lawsuit is essentially dead in the water. Whatever Diddy was hoping to accomplish by having Clayton pursue this case is not going to happen. And more than that, this whole situation actually makes Diddy look worse. It creates this narrative that he's trying to use other people to do his dirty work, that he's trying to orchestrate attacks on Cassie from the background. Even if nothing can be proven legally, the optics are terrible for him. Diddy's already dealing with so much legal trouble. He's got his own cases to worry about. He's got his reputation in complete free fall, and now he's got this situation where someone he apparently was connected to just completely imploded in the most public way possible. It's another distraction, another problem, another thing that's going to come up whenever his name is mentioned. What makes this situation particularly brutal for Clayton is that he's not just losing a lawsuit, he's potentially destroying his entire career before it even starts. Law schools look at character and fitness. Bar examiners look at this stuff. Firms that might want to hire him in the future are going to see this video. The legal community talks, word gets around, Clayton has branded himself as someone who makes threats, someone who can't be trusted, someone whose judgment is severely compromised. That's not something you come back from easily. The lesson in all of this, if there even is one that people are willing to learn, is that you don't get to be in litigation and then also run a public harassment campaign against the people you're suing. Those two things are incompatible. The moment you step into a courtroom, you've agreed to let the legal system handle the dispute. Everything else is just noise, and noise that can and will be used against you. Cassie showed incredible restraint throughout this whole thing. She didn't get emotional. She didn't engage with Clayton's bait. She let her legal team do the work. She documented everything. She moved strategically, and now she's in a position where Clayton's own actions have basically eliminated him as a threat. The protective order is coming. Clayton's going to be barred from making these kinds of public statements about her or her legal team. His case is going to be dismissed or ruled against. His bar admission prospects are going to be damaged, and Diddy's plan, whatever it was, has completely fallen apart. From where I'm sitting, this is checkmate. Cassie played this perfectly, and Clayton and Diddy walked right into it. They thought they were being aggressive, thought they were putting pressure on her, but they were actually just creating evidence against themselves. They were just handing her ammunition to use in court. They were just proving that they're the kind of people who resort to threats and intimidation when they're losing, and the court sees right through that. This case is basically over. The protective order filing has sealed it. Whatever happens from this point on is just procedural. Cassie's won, Clayton's lost, and Diddy's got one less weapon in his arsenal for whatever he's trying to do.